लक्ष्म्या सह ऋषिकेशः देव्या कारुण्यरूपया रक्षकः सर्वसिद्धान्ते वेदान्तेऽपि च गीयते. Dear devotees, I welcome you all to this session on knowing God through Vedas. In fact, today evening is a blessed evening as we all have this opportunity of knowing about the eternal Vedas and the message Vedas have in for us. When we talk about Vedas, the glory of Vedas would be apaurushaya anadi, which means it's eternal. The date of the Vedas are yet to be established. And also it's apaurushaya. It's not come out of a mouth of a human being. Apaurushaya. So these two are the most attractive ones for us, which draws us towards the Vedas. Now the topic for today's evening discussion would be knowing God through Vedas. Now we need to first of all believe that there is a God, and we need to prove Him through the Vedas. It's usual for any human being to see something with his eyes, to listen to something with his ears, to touch many things with his hand, to taste many things with his taste buds, with his tongue, and he can smell many things with his nose. So this world is full of so many material objects which we perceive through one of these five senses. We call them as jnanendriya, the senses that give us knowledge. So we can believe in anything what we see, which is known as pratyaksha jnana. When we want to know about God, there are only three sources available. Why only God? To know about any object on earth, you have only three sources. One is pratyaksha, what you are able to see and listen to. And the second is inference. I am not able to see something, but I am able to infer that since the phenomenon is so, this must be so. Since the cause is so, the effect has to be so. I'll give you one example. I looked at a peak of a mountain. Parvataha, Vanhiman, Dhumat. This mountain had smoke. I was able to see only the smoke. I immediately came to the conclusion, this mountain must have fire in it. Parvataha, Vanhiman, Dhumat. What am I trying to establish here? There is fire in the mountain. What is the cause? What made me come to the conclusion that there is fire? The smoke that was emitting out of the mountain. Where am I trying to establish it? In the mountain. So in Sanskritam, we call these three parameters Paksha, Sadhya, Hetu. Paksha is where we are trying to establish. Sadhya is what we are trying to establish. Hetu, the cause with which we are trying to establish. So these three are important factors in inferring anything. Now I have come here only at 7:25. I was supposed to be here at 7 p.m. This discourse should have begun at 7 p.m. But now I was able to begin this lecture only at 7:25. So this is a fact. What will you immediately assume? What would you infer? That Vekukkudi Krishnan, his practice, he is usually late. Either you will come to this conclusion or he would have been delayed due to some causes. Now these two are the inferences which you get. You are able to see me coming late and you infer certain things. What are you trying to establish now? That I am late. Why? There are a set of causes as to why I am late. So in anything you are free to infer based on some data, some information which you have, which we call as major premise and minor premise. In logic, we have three statements. The first statement is known as major premise, minor premise, and the conclusion. The major premise here is Vekukkudi Krishnan came late at 7:30. The minor premise here is we were made to sit late till 7:30. Conclusion is henceforth let us not attend this lecture. This is the conclusion. Now I am not trying to apologize with you. I am not trying to find a simple way out by showing an inference, my own example. I am just telling you a real example. So there is a major premise, a minor, and a conclusion. Here, Parvataha Vanhiman Dhumat, the mountain has smoke. So, inferences, it must have some fire in it. But there is a precondition to this inference. What is that condition? I must have somewhere at some point of time seen fire along with smoke. If not, I cannot come to this conclusion at all. Suppose I have never seen fire and smoke together. Then now looking at smoke, how can I decide that there was fire inside? So there is a precondition to inference. That precondition is in fact pratyaksham. The first source of knowledge which we spoke about. The first source was pratyaksham, perception, what we are able to see. The second source is inference. But in a way, inference is also dependent on pratyaksham only. Without a pratyaksha jnana, you cannot infer at all. So both these are in a way dependent on each other. I can't say that pratyaksham is dependent on inference, but at least anumanam, inference is certainly dependent on pratyaksha. So these two sources are very varied sources. And the third source is shabdam. Shabdam is collection of words. That is the third best source. Take for instance, when my child was born, he did not know I was his father. He cannot recognize his mother too. So, he could not have realized me as his father by pratyaksha jnana. Because he cannot conceive anything at that point. At that age, he can't realize that I was his father. So, it was not pratyaksha jnana. When there was no pratyaksha source, there is no way my child is going to infer that I was his father. Then, only the third source of knowledge helped him. The mother of the child showed her finger towards me and made the child understand, oh son, this is your father. So it were only words that made the child understand. The child didn't realize me through pratyaksha, not through anumana, but it could realize me only through shabda. But that shabdam, we won't believe in the words of everyone and anyone. We need to have someone close to us. We must believe that this person is interested in me. He is my well-wisher. So certainly he will guide me the right way. First I must believe in someone. Only then I will believe in his words. So words alone cannot be good source of knowledge. Words of a good person. Words of my well-wisher. Words of my relative. Words of scholars. Words of noble souls. Only they would be real source of knowledge. So there are three sources. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda. Now, we are trying to know God through the Vedas. Why? Can we not know God through Pratyaksha? Can we not infer Him? Why Vedas alone? Our topic today is knowing God through Vedas. Why not change the topic as know God through Pratyaksha, knowing God through inference Anumana? We don't say so. We only say knowing God through Vedas. Vedas are the third source of knowledge. Shabda, collection of words. If I have to believe in the Vedas, then are they my well-wishers? Is it a noble soul? Is it a reliable source? These all questions will come to our mind. The Vedas themselves say, Mata Pitru Sahasre Bhyopi Vatsalataram Shastram. Shastram is so loving towards you, is so caring towards you, Mata Pitru Sahasre Bhyopi. If you take a weighing scale and place thousands and thousands of parents on one side of the weighing scale and the four Vedas on the other side of the weighing scale, this side bearing the Vedas would weigh better. It would weigh more than the 1,000 parents on the other side. Mata Pitru Sahasre Bhyopi Vatsalataram Shastram. So Shastra is so loving towards you, it cares for you and ensures that you are guided in the right way. So the third source of knowledge, Shabda, would be the best to know about God. And I believe in them because it's so loving and caring towards me. Now, let us put one question. Why can't God be realized by looking at Him, by listening to Him, by touching Him, by smelling Him? We can. Why not realize God by inferring? We can. Why should we rely only on the third source of knowledge? All the Vedantis, all the scholars of Vedanta have unanimously agreed that God cannot be realized by Pratyaksha nor by Anumana. Let me tell you why. I have not had the golden opportunity of having Pratyaksha knowledge of God at all. I have not been blessed by looking at God. I do not know about people around this hall. We may all be wishfully thinking that we need to look at God, have His darshan. We go to all the Divyadeshams, the holy shrines. We can look at God in His deity form, but not the God in Sri Vaikuntha, not the God in Vibhava Avatara. If I want to have darshan of Rama or Krishna, will I be blessed with that? I will never be, because I was not a contemporary of Rama and Krishna. So there were people who were blessed to be with God, but I am not the blessed. There had been times when Brahma, Shiva and Devas like them have gone and had darshan of God in the ocean of milk. I am not blessed. So Pratyaksha Jnana is never possible with God. Alvar, the head of all the 10 Alvars, is revered as Nammalvar. His name is Shatakopan Karimaran Nammalvar. He says in one of his verses, Unarndu Unarndu Unarilam Irai Nilai Unarvaridu Uyirukal. It's too difficult. It is next to impossible to know about God for yourself. Unarndu Unarndu Unarilum Irai Nilai Unarvaridu Uyirukal. So Pratyaksham is ruled out. In the case of God, I am not able to see Him. You won't be able to see Him. And the Vedas themselves accept Nayamatma Pravachanena Labhyaha Na Methaya Na Bahunashrutena Yeme Veshavrunute Tena Labhyaha Tasseisha Atma Vivrunute Tanum Swam. This God is never realized by chanting about Him, by meditating towards Him, by going to His temple, by contributing to Him, by talking about Him, by performing puja to Him. He is not realized by all these means. This is a famous Upanishadic verse. When the Vedas themselves admit that no way you can realize God, then why are we here on a good evening instead of going and enjoying something else, trying to know about God? When Vedas themselves accept the fact, whatever you try, you cannot realize Him. Nayamatma na pravachanena labhyaha na methaya na bahunashrutena. This will all be some teasers posed by the Vedas and the Vedanta. It says that God cannot be realized by all these means. It says so because it wants you to accept that we cannot realize God by Pratyaksha. We won't be able to. The reason is, if I have to see something with my eyes, it's all limited. I'm able to see this. I'm able to see you. I'm able to see the last person. But I can't see anything beyond that wall. My eyesight, my vision is restricted by the boundary. Boundary is the wall. So my eyes cannot go pierce through the wall. My ears are all limited. I can be heard if there is a microphone. If this is not, maybe the last row person will not be able to hear to me. So our speech or our sight or our touch, these are all restricted. Whereas once you want to realize about God, we are talking something about infinite. So with a finite instrument, it's too difficult to realize an infinite object. The instrument which we have in hand, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, they are all finite. We are trying to realize something that's infinite with our nose, tongue, which would be impossible. So Pratyaksha Jnanam is ruled out in the case of God. Come to inference then. Why can't I infer the existence of God? Which many would try to do. But it's too difficult to do. It's impossible. The reason is, already we came to the conclusion, inference is dependent on Pratyaksha. Unless I have some Pratyaksha Jnana, I cannot infer at all. When there is no pratyaksha possible with God, where is the question of me inferring about God? I can infer. How can I? If there is a microphone, there must be one who manufactured it. If there is a pot, there has to be a pot maker. I am wearing this dhoti, this cloth. There needs to be a weaver who has weaved this cloth. I am wearing this ring. There has to be a goldsmith. So whatever I see, I am not seeing the goldsmith. I have not seen the manufacturer. I saw all the cars running around this city. When I inquired, they told me this part of United States is the car automobile hub. Many cars get manufactured here. I have not seen any factory now. But when they say, when I see the car, I believe there has to be a manufacturer who manufactured this car. Similarly, when I see this whole universe, when I see this world, why can't I infer that there must be a person who is a creator? There has to be a person who has created this entire universe. Let that creator be God. Can I infer so? I cannot infer because I am trying to extrapolate something now. I see this. There has to be a manufacturer. I see this. There has to be a goldsmith. I see this. There has to be a weaver. I'm just trying to extend this and extrapolate this to infer God. It's too difficult. The reason is, once you try to extrapolate something, then the focal point becomes where you began. You began somewhere. I need to extrapolate from that point only. Take the case of the sales of a company. They plot it on a piece of paper, which is known as graph. You have an x-axis, you have a y-axis. The x-axis talks about years, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2004. The y-axis talks about the sales figure, 1 billion, 2, 3, 4, 5. I start plotting dots now. 1999 was 1, 2000 was 2 billion, 2001 was 3 billion. What would it be in 2010? I can easily plot this graph, draw the line, cross the line, and find out what the sales would be in 2010. Does it hold good any day? It can only be on paper. We never know whether the sales would be that much or not in 2010. Why 2010? We don't even know whether the next day sales would be as we predicted or not. So inference even in sales in a graph is almost impossible. Where is the question of inferring about God? This is something finite. Manufacturing is in my hand. Market is in my hand. Money is in my hand. Even when all factors, the variable factors were in my hand, I am unable to correctly predict or infer the sale. But how can I do the same with an infinite God? So inference is also ruled out. If I infer that there was a pot maker to a pot, Bhagavan, the God, must be a big pot maker who can make many, many pots. I had a weaver to this cloth. Bhagavan must be the very big weaver in this world. You cannot infer so. The moment you infer so, then you are restricting the power and knowledge of that God as a multiplying factor of the goldsmith whom you saw. I saw one goldsmith. I will only try to multiply the power of that goldsmith, multiply the knowledge of that goldsmith, and try to infer that this is the power and knowledge of that Almighty. Whereas, it's not so. Its power and everything is infinite. So in the case of God, Anumanam is also ruled out. Then the only third source available is Shabda, Veda. There is no other source to know about God. Pratyaksha, Anumana can be defeated by one another. It's an interesting thing which I am going to tell you now. Pratyaksham can also be defeated by Anumana. Anumana can also be defeated, disproved by Pratyaksha. Shall I tell you how? Pratyaksham. I see a lamp that is lit. The jyoti, the fire, is burning in the lamp. There is the lamp is burning. There is ghee or oil that has been filled in the lamp. I am talking about the conventional traditional lamp where we keep an ahal, a mud one, a lamp, and we have a, what do you call that as? Twig. And we burn the lamp, we light the lamp and the twig starts to burn. When I look at the burning fire, it looks the same for 1 hour for me. There is no change in the fire. It burns continuously. I came to the conclusion, it's the same fire. So pratyaksha jnana. When I looked at that fire, it looked the same to me for 1 hour. I came to the conclusion it is pratyaksha jnana that this fire is the same. Whereas it's not so. Can I disprove this argument now? When it's burning, does the oil reduce or not? Certainly the oil content reduces. And is that, what did you say now? That wig. The wig. The wig which is burning, does it reduce or not? It shortens and shortens. So the oil content reduces. The wig also reduces. When it reduces, the fire could not have been the same. First minute the fire should have been different. Second minute the fire should have been different. Because this fire is burning with a different wig, with a different portion of oil. The second minute, fire burns with a different portion in the wig, with a different portion of oil. So when the cause is different, the effect has to be different. The cause is totally different. It's a different portion of oil, different portion of wick, but finally we see, look at only one fire. Now what does it mean? Even though by pratyaksha, I was able to conclude that it's the same fire that's burning, but by inference, I am able to disprove. The inference is, since the wick changes in size, since the oil reduces in quantity, the fire that's burning is different. It's not the same fire. So this is inference. With the help of this inference, I am able to disprove pratyaksha. So even what you are able to see with your own eyes, you are able to disprove that. Pratyaksha can be disproved by anumana. I'll tell you the other way around. Let's take the case of an anumana. I'll tell you the major premise, minor premise, and the conclusion. The major is Gaganaravindam Surabhi. I'll tell you in Sanskrit first, then translate it to you. Gaganaravindam Surabhi. Jalaravindavat. Aravindatvat. There are 3 statements required in any anumana. First statement, Gaganaravindam Surabhi. The lotus hanging from the skies is beautiful. The lotus hanging from the skies, I am unable to explain. I don't find words to tell about the fragrance of that lotus. Lotus hanging from the sky, looking beautiful, it's just fragrant. I made that statement. I need to support my statement with a minor premise. I told that, like a lotus on earth, like a lotus on a pond, and also said, because it's a lotus. There is a lotus hanging in the sky. The fragrance is so good. It's just like a lotus on the pond because it's a lotus. And there is no problem in this inference now. I have seen many lotuses on the pond which has fragrance. I see a lotus in the akasha which also has fragrance. I can easily prove the anumana. But unfortunately, my knowledge will immediately tell me, have you any day seen any lotus hanging from the sky? You have never seen one. So my pratyaksha jnana will tell me that there is no lotus at all. Why are you trying to prove the smell of a lotus? When I have never seen a lotus hanging from the sky, how can you prove the fragrance of a lotus? I tried to prove the fragrance, telling that any lotus on earth has got a good fragrance. There is a lotus in the sky that should also have the same fragrance because it's also a lotus. I am very clear in all my 3 statements. Unfortunately, I committed a small mistake. The mistake is there is no lotus in the skies at all. Where is the question of proving the fragrance in it? So, anumana can also be disproved by pratyaksha. Pratyaksha can disprove anumana. Anumana in turn can disprove pratyaksha. But in the case of Vedas, neither anumana nor pratyaksha can disprove the shabda of the Vedas. So that's the importance, eternity of this Vedas. That's why we call them as apaurusheya, anadi. Vedas are all anadi. They have never been spelt out, never been given birth by anyone on any day. Even though the historians, the scholars who talk about the dates, they give a chronological order of all the 4 Vedas. Rig, Yaju, Sama, Atharva. Rig Veda is the most ancient and it's dated almost as 7,000 and odd years now. Then on Yajur Veda, then Sama Veda, then Atharvana Veda. But this is only talking about historians. But all the ancient philosophers, the believers in the Shastra Vedas would never say so. They would only stick to the fact their own timing that it's anadi, it's eternal. No one gave birth to the Vedas. Why? Why if I spell out something, if I talk about something, I have written a holy scripture, I have written a text, then there would be many shortcomings to that text. The first shortcoming would be, whatever I recall will only be found in the text. And our knowledge is always limited. I won't be able to recall everything. I knew today's topic was knowing God through Vedas. I need to prepare for the same. I could have taken notes and prepared about 100 points to come and share those points with you. But the moment I realized that I am delayed, in my panic mood, I forget 50 of them. When I reach here, I recall only 50. After looking at you, I am further panicking now. I forgot still another 25 of them. I remember only 25. Before the time I finish 25, I need to look there, it's already 30 minutes. I am yet to tell you anything. So I forget another 12. Finally, I have only 13 left with me. I would share that 13, but when you look at the clock, you will forget 6 out of the 13 which I communicated to you. So you will retain only 7. When you go out of this hall, maybe we are all so much drawn towards this pleasure in this world. We forget 3, we will remember the last 3. And so, I started with 100. Finally, it all ended with 3. It's 3% success rate. But Vedas cannot afford to have a 3% success rate. If they tell you something, it must have 100% success rate. So when I open my mouth, I start to talk, then it's all affected by time, by space, by the energy, by my memory power. There are so many factors that affect, that influence when I talk out to you. But these things cannot be your guidelines at all. We are talking about some holy scriptures, which is the eternal guideline, and every human being has to adopt, has to follow that guideline. So that guideline must be devoid of all the blemishes. The blemishes, if a human being talks, it is all with his shortcomings. And I would look at you. If you laugh on a particular thing, I will continue to say so, continue in the same topic. If I feel that you are not interested on a particular topic, I'll immediately change the topic. So, my talking is totally influenced by your reaction to my lecture. So, I talk as per your wish. Vedas cannot do so. They will only tell what's right to you and not what you like. Liking is totally different from what is right to you. The duty of Vedas is to tell you what's right, what is good to you. Their duty is not to tell you what's lovable to you. So the priyam is totally different from hitam. We call in Sanskrit as priya and hita. Priya is something that which I like. That may not always be good to me. Whatever I like, are they all good to me always? Not at all. Take the case of your food. You can take as a simple rule. Whatever you like to eat is never good for your health. Whatever is good for your health would be never liked by you. This is a simple rule. I like so many things to eat, but unfortunately, they are all never good to my health. They feel so good when they enter this part of your body, but not later than this. You have a variety of food. You call them as vegetables, we call them as cereals, pulses, so many things. Rice, wheat, dal, we eat everything. But all these difference in name is only up to this point. After this point, it gets broken to fat, protein, carbohydrate, minerals, totally unknown name to us. If we are told that, have so much of carbohydrate here in this plate, have so much of mineral here in this plate, have so much of protein here in this plate. Now I have a very balanced diet. 1 plate full of protein, half plate of carbohydrate, half plate of fat. Will anyone eat that? I will never do that, but still I know it's good to my health. But unfortunately, I am not able to consume that. So whatever is good to you need not be liked by you. Whatever is liked by you need not be good to you. So the duty of Vedas is, it never talks what is lovable to you. It never talks to you what you like, but it only tells you what's good to you, what is right to you. So hita is what is good to me. Priya is what I like. This is why we have parents, father and mother. My father would always talk about what is good to me. My mother would always talk about what I like more. So there need to be a fusion of both these duties. My mother will take care of my wishes. My father will take care of my good living. They together will ensure I have a right balance of Priya and Hita. If it was only father, I would run away from home. Because he will only have a stick in his hand. It's always Hitam. Always Hitam will never help you at all. You need to blend it with Priyam also. If it were only my mother, then I won't study properly, I won't score marks, there will be no one to correct me at all. So, both get together. Mata and Pita together give me the right feed of Hita and Priya. So are the Vedas. I already told you, Mata Pitr Sahasrebhyaha Vatsalataram Shastram. Shastram is so caring towards you that it gives you a right mixture of Priya and Hita. So that's the only source of knowledge from where I can know about by God. That's Pratyaksha Jnana, Anumana Jnana, and lastly Shastra Jnana, Vedas. Those Vedas need not be doubted at all because of their ancient living, because they never came out from the mouth of a human being, because they are eternal. Eternal Vedas, they don't have the shortcomings. They are not influenced by human beings. They are not influenced by any other factor. That itself will make us believe that, let me believe that these Vedas has something good to me. Let me go through them. Vedas are in other words known as Shastram. You would have often heard this word, Shastram. It means Shashanat Shastram. I'll tell you the meaning of Vedas as well as Shastram. Vid, in Sanskrit, every word takes birth from a root. It all takes birth from a root. Vid, to know, is the root. To know, Vedayati, Vedaha. Vid, to know, Vedaha. It makes us know, makes us understand. So the duty of Veda is to make us understand about what? The word Veda does not mention about what. It only tells you that it makes you know, makes you understand. About what? To which you need to go through the Vedas. They talk about whom? Vedas talk about many, many things on earth. Asaram, Alpasarancha, Saram, Syarataram Tyajet, Bhajet Saratamam Shastre, Ratnakara Ivamrutam. You go to a big ocean. You have a good look at the ocean. You dive inside the ocean. I go to the deep surface. I go to the deep waters. I start searching. I may get so many things. There may be fishes floating there. There may be many other sea living creatures floating there. There would be coral. There would be just reeds, seaweeds. So many things would be floating around me. Now I need to use my discretion not to touch at the seaweeds, not to touch at the plants, not to touch the fish, but focus only on the coral. Focus only on the pearl. I need to look at the pearl and take out. So are these Vedas. They can be equated to Mahasamudra, big ocean. Now I go into the deep part of that ocean. I start searching in that ocean. What do I get? I may get some seaweed. I may get some plant. I may touch some fish. But I should not set my eyes on all those things. I should only focus on the part which talk about the God. The part which gets me closer to the Brahman, closer to God. Does it mean that Vedas also have something which have to be sieved and removed by us? Yes, there are some. Krishna himself, when he talks so much about the glory of Vedas, he also says that Veda Vadarataha Partha Nanyadastiti Vadinaha. O Arjuna, there are some who just catch fast to these Vedas and they keep on making a blunt argument. It's a dry argument from them that Vedas are the ultimate. And Vedas speak about Swarga. Vedas speak about many fruits. It's not only about the God. Vedas will talk about many things to you. But Krishna says, don't get carried away by those portions of Vedas which fetch you material benefits. Stick to those portions which talk about God and God alone. Arjuna questioned Krishna, why show me those portions and then tell me not to look at those portions? Instead, you could have sieved and given the right portion themselves so that I am not carried away by the other portions. It's unfortunate that Say, I need to learn 2 verses. Out of Nammalvar's 1102 verses in Thiruvaimozhi, say there are only 20 great verses. I am made to put all the 1100 in a sieve. I need to sieve. Only 20 get selected. I learn those selected. Instead, I'd be quite happy if someone does the process of selection, choosing, and gives me only those 20. Then that reduces my burden. Take Shri Krishna Jayanti. On that day, we cook a lot of sweets for Krishna. We prepare sweets and offer it to Krishna. There would be a healthy competition that she does 21 varieties. She had done 22. I have done 23 varieties sweets today. All that these ladies in the back at home, they will start the previous day or that day morning. They prepare till that evening. By the time they finish preparing, it will be night. Unfortunately, Krishna was born only in the night time. So they also finish their preparation in the night and offer everything to Krishna. There will be one sweet, which is called as kova, pal kova. That is the essence of milk. All the unwanted water gets evaporated from milk and the milk condenses as kova. Now we prepare that kova. I need to first start to boil 10 liters of milk. At the end, you won't get 10 liters of kova. You will only get half a liter of kova in your hand. But compare the taste of 10 liters of milk to that of kova, this pal kova which we call in Tamil as tharattu pal. This tharattu pal will be so sweet. Why? Because all the unwanted water portion has got evaporated. Only the condensed milk now is this kova portion. You can apply the same to Vedas too. Vedas are all milk. You need to remove all the unwanted water from the Vedas and talk only about those portions which show you the way to go near Brahman. Vid, to know, Vedayati, makes us know about many things, but you set your eyes only on those which is too relevant to you. Now Krishna also gives an example. Vedavatarataha parthan anyadasti iti vadinaha yavanartha udapane sarvataha sampludodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. O Arjuna, there are many portions in Vedas which I need to cater to many people. Now Bhagavan stands for everyone. He is equal to all. But are we all alike in our character? Every one of us, we differ in our character. In fact, that's the only interesting point to live in this world. If all of us are alike, then there is no way to live. Why should we be interested in living in this world? And my right hand is not like my left. My thumb finger is not alike my little finger. So there is difference. Difference only brings interest in this life. That only makes life interesting. So we need to be not alike. We need to be different. But in the case of God, He needs to cater to all. I went to a big shop. I wanted to buy a particular piece of soap for a bathing soap. I went there. There was one pack of 6 pieces, another of 3 pieces, 1 piece, that too 150 grams, 125 grams, 75 grams, 50 grams, all the same brand and the same soap. I didn't know why so many packs sold. The packs because they need to cater to different category of people. This big pack is to a big family. There are so many people who live alone. So that's a small pack to them. So the company has to cater to many. It needs to attract all. Bhagavan is also he runs a big company. That's too big a corporate with so many billions and billions of people around him. But this company can be wound up. Like what happened 2 years back. Big corporates got wound up. We didn't know what was happening inside. But nothing like that happens in this corporate. It's all transparent. Bhagavan gives you what's the rule, which is the game. How do you play the game? If you play the game rightly, you win the game. If you flout, if you don't go through the rules, you lose the game. So here, there is nothing that can be wound up. It's always alive. No bankruptcy. So in this game, let's go through the game. We went. So Bhagavan has to cater to every category of people. What he does is, he places himself differently. My ruchi, roko bhinna ruchihi. We say, the Shastra themselves say, taste differs. We all do not enjoy the same taste. I love savories. You love sweet. I may love only to drink milk. Someone likes to drink flavored milk. Some likes only pickles. I do not like pickle at all. So our taste differs. Not only between you and me. within myself, my taste would differ. My taste in May will certainly not be the same as in January. If I visit in here January and I wear this thin dhoti on me and come to lecture to you, I'll be just laughed at. People would tell me, are you mad? Are you wearing this simple cloth to come to Detroit? We are not talking about Houston now. You are in Detroit. So in this place you need to wear 10 shawls. Only then you can step in January. But if I wear 10 shawls in the month of June and come sit before you, you will again laugh at me. Why are you wearing 10 shawls? Will you not melt inside those 10 shawls? Please remove them. In January you told me something. Since then I started wearing shawl. I came with the same shawl in June. You laugh again on me. When I wore the shawl, you laughed at me. When I remove it, you laugh at me. Why? Because of the change in season. It was winter then, my taste was different. It is summer now, my taste is different. So my own taste differs when season changes. My own taste differs when my age changed. But the same taste which I had at the age of 10 will not hold good at the age of 20, not at 30, not at 50 at all. After 50, we all want to listen to discourses and lectures. But certainly not at the age of 20. I see around here, the average age has to be 40. So fortunately, it's 40. If it was Chennai or Bombay or Delhi, it would have been 60 plus. The average age, but I will have 1,000 people. There's no problem there. But you add and divide by 1,000, the average age would be 60 only. People come, relax, they want to earn some punyam towards where they go. So that's the need, they come and relax. So we all think that in earlier days, our focus is somewhere else. In my olden days, my focus, my priority changes. So we change. Our tastes change. But Bhagavan, He needs to be the same to all. Whether you are 20 or 40, whether you are male or female, whether it is June or May or January, He needs to cater to all seasons. He needs to cater to all the people. And it is only one Veda. I cannot change His Veda between spring, fall and summer. It remains the same. I cannot change Veda between 2001 and 2004. Nothing before 9/11 or after 9/11, nothing can be changed. I came here in 2001. I was able to board the aircraft even 5 minutes before. I came the next year. By the time it was 9/11. And I was told that please be prepared, come here 1.5 hours before. Don't ever think you can go and check in 5 minutes before. I did so in my first airport. I missed the flight itself. So now I thought, there are so many factors that change. Now I cannot change Vedas. You can keep on changing rules here. But the Vedas are a set of rules which have to remain forever. I cannot tamper with them. I cannot change them. So Bhagavan has accommodated rules for everyone in the Vedas. Now it is for our discretion to choose the right portion that suits us, which is very important decision now. Vedas would have many portions to cater to all walks of life, to cater to all tastes. But we must choose that suits us, where we are, the graduation we have reached, the level, the refinement which we have reached must be the deciding factor to choose those portions of Vedas. Now I'll tell you a beautiful example of how Bhagavan uses this tool Vedas to change, to graduate someone from an atheist to a theist. We are talking about Nastika and Astika. Our topic is knowing God through Vedas. I'll make you realize now how even a Nastika is made to realize the power of Vedas. He is given an insight into the beautiful thoughts and concepts of Vedas. There was one atheist who never believed the existence of Vedas, who never believed the existence of God itself. He needs to be transformed now. How do? I cannot do any miracle. I need to go through a progressive path, progressive way. So the Vedas first say, they talk about so many karmas, which give you so many results. This friend of ours, take his name to be A. Let us not name him Rama or Krishna, because he is an atheist now. Why unnecessarily call him Rama and Krishna? Let him be an atheist person A. That A never believed in the Vedas. He never believed in God. But he had one enemy, only one enemy. He had one enemy who he wanted to kill. He was creating lot of problems to him. He was a business enemy. He didn't allow him to lead a peaceful life. He was always his neighbor. He never liked him. He wanted to put an end to his life. But he cannot go directly kill him. If you kill, you will be caught. Then by killing him, He will again spoil your life. That's what he wants you to do. So you will never do that. You went to a Vedic scholar because all showed their fingers towards that scholar. He has got a solution for every problem. Why don't you go and approach that scholar? This person never believes in scholars. He never believed the Vedas, but still he thought, let me give it a last try. I have tried all ways possible. I am unable to kill my opponent, my enemy. Let me go and try with this Vedic scholar. He went and requested. The scholar asked him, do you want to put an end to your enemy? Yes, I want to. And he could see the glow in his eyes. Immediately the scholar decided, yes, there is one yaga known as Shena Yaga, mentioned in the Vedas. Shena is Giridhra, eagle. And this yaga, once performed, you would have known, eagle have got a very sharp eyesight. Even if they are flying in their skies, and a small kid, a baby, is holding a sweet in his hand, that eagle can look at that sweet perfectly from that height, immediately plunge below, just snatch that sweet, go back and start flying. So this Vedic scholar told this person A that you perform this Shena Yaga, your enemy's life will also snatched in the same way. As this eagle snatches the sweet, your enemy's life will also be snatched by this yaga. Why don't you try? This person never believed, but still thought something is better than nothing. Let me try. If it succeeds, it succeeds. So he asked the scholar performed that yaga. Yagas will never fail. Your Shastra will never lie. So he immediately fetched the result. The enemy was killed. Then on. Now our friend A, he started to believe 1%, not 2 or 3. He was earlier not believing at all. Now he had to believe because his enemy got killed. He believed in the Vedas. Now he was quite happy. Still, he is not totally believing Vedas. He was happy that my enemy is no more. Let me do good business, earn more. But unfortunately, he realized after 2-3 years, if one enemy dies, 10 would be born in the same place. He realized it later on. He thought he is doing business well, but there are tens and scores of enemies whom he got. Then he concluded that there is no point in killing enemies. I think there is something else in life other than killing enemies. So our person thought, let me improve my business. I need to build my wealth. I need to increase my wealth. What do? He tried a lot, but he continuously failed in his business. He came back to the same Vedic scholar. Do you have any way for this problem too? Earlier I had a problem. You gave me a solution. Now I had, not that I believe in you, but still, do you have any solution to my problem? The scholar said, Vayavya Yagam is one yaga, you perform that and try. What will it do? Vayu Bhagavan, the wind god, Vayurvai Kshepishta Devata. This Vayu Bhagavan is so powerful that once wind blows, all the dirt, all the garbage that is laid in various parts of the city, do they not collect by winds in one place? So if you perform this yaga towards wind god, all the wealth that is scattered in many neighborhoods will all get collected in your neighborhood, in your house, precisely. And our friend thought, let me try it now. So he performed Vayavya Yaga. Again, Vedanul Voduginnathu Unmai. Immediately it gave the fruit. This person became very wealthy. And then he realized that earlier when I was not wealthy, I had 10 enemies. Now there are 100. When I became wealthy, it does not stop with 10 now. I have hundreds and hundreds of enemies. This is not the way. Let me get married so that I have someone to care for me. He got married and they led a very peaceful life, happy life. After some time he realized, I am not blessed with a child. I should have a child so that he enjoys the wealth which I have saved. He thought, let me have a child, but he was not blessed with one. 10 years after marriage, he went to the same Vedic scholar, asked him, do you have anything to get a child? I am unable to get one. Do you have any yaga? Yes, there is a solution. Perform Putra Kameshti Yaga. You will be blessed with a child. This was done by Dasharatha. Why don't you try? Our person is progressively improving percentage by percentage, inch by inch in his belief in Vedas. Earlier it was 0. He started to believe. He believed. He started to believe more. Now he had to believe. He performed that Putra Kameshti Yaga and it fetched the result. He got a Putra. Putra, the definition of that name is Punnamno Narakatu Trayateti Putraha. there is a naraka, it seems. If you are not blessed with a male child, you are driven to that naraka. So this male child saves you from the agony of that naraka. Punnamno narakat trayate. Since he saves me from the brunt of that naraka, he is called as putra. I thought I am already saved. Since I have a son now, I am blessed with a son, I need not go to the naraka. I nurtured him. I grew him. I spent a lot on him. Whenever he cried, I cried. Whenever he was not well, I took him to the hospital. So much I cared about my son. He is 25, standing taller than me. I have so far spent my life on that son. I never expected anything in return from him. He is 25. He came, stood before me and put a beautiful question to me, which I could not forget at all. He asked me, why did you make me study this MS? By the time I finished my studies, the whole world has changed now. Earlier it was all in software. Now it is changing to biotechnology. You should have changed. Why did you make me undergo a course on software? You have made a mistake. And this father thought, I've tried so much with my son, and suddenly to bear all this blame, instead that naraka would have been better. To get this child, to grow him up for 25 years, and then he questions me, he blames me, I need to take that blame on me. Instead, I could have gone to naraka. So he thought, I was under the opinion that if I have a son, that's the ultimate. But even the son is not going to give me permanent joy. Is there anything else? It's our practice to look up. If I am not satisfied, if I am bored here, immediately I look up. Is there something better than what I am living today? He went to the same scholar, asked him whether you have any solution. Yes, there is one world called Swarga. That is heaven. If you go there, none this wife, son, no one will bother you. You can be in eternal pleasure. What do I do for that? Jyotishtomena Swarga Kamo Yajeta. Perform Jyotishtoma Yaga. You will immediately go to Swarga. Our friend A performed it. Immediately he went to Swarga. So he now almost believed the Vedas. Because starting from killing the enemy, Shena Yaga, Vayavya Yaga, Putrakametti Yaga, now he is in this Yaga lastly, Jyotishtoma Yaga. He is in Swarga. Ramba, Tilottama, Urvashi, Menaka. All the Apsara Stris dance around him. He can listen to beautiful music. He can look at dancers. He was very happy. Years rolled by. One day, when he was looking at someone, he was being pushed upside down, head down, towards our material world by an Apsarastri. Our friend thought, why are they being sent back? Why are they being pushed down? He was worried now. He thought this is a permanent place where he would reside. Then now at this site he was moved. So he called one Apsaras and questioned her, why are you pushing him down? She replied sweetly, telling, that person had already spent the punyams which he has accumulated. He had some virtues. He has spent them already. So we need to push them back to world only. He has to go back. Either he earns punyam or papam. As a result of which, again he can go to Swargam or Narakam. But as of now, the show is over. So we have pushed him down. Our friend A questioned that Apsaras, will you push me also down? He asked. She said, not today but tomorrow. It's not today because you still have one day of punyam left. You can enjoy that day unhindered, without disturbance. But tomorrow is your last day, you will be pushed down. Our friend immediately asked, then this place is also not eternal. I thought one by one, I thought they are all permanent. Even Swarga is not permanent to me. He still looked further up. Is there any other place? He went to the Vedic scholar, kindly tell me now of some other yaga where I can go to the most permanent place, not to the Swarga and Naraka. Tell me that. Then our scholar replied to him, I was waiting for you for 12 years now, for you to come with this statement. Now that you ask me, let me tell you, to go to that place, you need to realize God. To realize God, no penance will help you. No yagas would help you. It's only your trial, your repeated practice, your meditation, your chanting, your knowing all the Shastras will help you. There is no other way to realize God. You cannot perform with ghee or tair or anything, any yaga to realize God. They can give you of all material benefits, but they can never give you. None of the karmas can show you or make you realize of God. Only the Shastras would do so. So our scholars told him, now forget all that you have done. Start afresh. What do I do? Go through right from verse 1 to the last verse in the Vedas. Now get to know how to realize God. Then this person asked, is Vedas enough for that? They said, not enough. There is a second portion, a later portion to the Vedas known as Vedanta Upanishads. And the Dashopanishad Bhaga, Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Munda, Mandukya, Tittiri, Aitareya, Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka. There are 10 important Upanishads, Ishavasya, Kenopanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Mundako-Upanishad, Mandukya-Upanishad, Aitareya-Upanishad, Chandogya-Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka-Upanishad. All these are the later portions of the Vedas, known as Vedashiras, Vedanta Upanishad. Now, let's divide Vedas into two. The Veda part and the Vedanta part. Veda part deals about your karmic duties, the karma, the physical action of performing all these yagas. They are well discussed and explained in the Veda Bhaga. Come to the Vedanta, the Upanishadic portion. It will only talk about Brahman, Brahman and Brahman, about God. So, the ways to reach God, all the material things are mentioned in the previous part, Veda Bhaga. In the Vedanta Upanishad Bhaga, it's only Brahman whom it talks about. So this Vedanta Upanishad, I have already told you the meaning of the word Veda, with to know. It makes us realize. Makes you realize what? About everything, every material pleasure on earth. But you need to use your discretion and choose the right portion that suits you. That's why I told you, when you dive into the sea, you may counter with many, but you need to only look and search for pearls and corals. So in this big Shastra, there may be many which does not suit us. Now take the case of Adi Shankara, or the case of Swami Ramanuja, or Madhvacharya. Now they know the Vedas, they have mastered the Vedas. Now can Adi Shankara say that, since the Vedas talk about Shyana Yaga, to kill your enemy, let me perform Shyana Yaga and kill my enemy? Will ever Shankara open his mouth with that comment? He will not. He would say, that portion is not for me. That is, to transform an atheist to a theist. I am already a Parama Bhagavata. Where is the question of me talking about those portions? So Krishna also said, Yavanartha udapane sarvataha sampludodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. A lot of water was flowing in the river. But I cannot drink all water. I need to drink water enough to quench my thirst. That's all. I cannot drink the whole ocean. I cannot drink the whole river. Rather, I need to drink water which my tumbler, which my glass can hold. I cannot drink water more than that. So I have a glass in my hand, whatever I can fill up in that. I have thirst in my throat, whatever I can quench. So what's required for you is what you can take. Not all this available in Vedas. So whatever you require, you can take them from Vedas. For example, if you also have some problem, you are free to go search Vedas, choose any solution for you. You need a job, you need to earn money, you need to have a child, you need to get married, you need to get rid of some problem, you will find solutions. But do we go to them is the question now. We have assembled here to know, knowing God through Vedas. You may know so many things through Vedas. First I proved here that it's only Vedas which can make you realize God, not Pratyaksha or Anumana. Vedaischa sarvaihi, ahameva vedyaha, Vedanta kritu, Vedavideva chaham. Krishna in Gita preaches as, Vedaischa sarvaihi, ahameva vedyaha. O Arjuna, I am revealed only by the Vedas, not by anything else, not by Pratyaksha, not by Anumana. I tell you something interesting. In logic, in Tarka and Nyaya. Suppose I want to identify something. I wanted to identify a particular person. I need to give some mark, which is only to him. Asadharana lakshana. Those marks are always to him. The marks are not found. Take the case of a certificate. When I come out from a 10th class or 12th class or college, I don't know about this country, but there we have a certificate where a right mole in the right forehead, a small mole in the right elbow, a big scar in your right cheek, those things would be written. So those are my marks which never vanish. They are always there to identify me. I wanted to identify a person. I told him, Shyamaha, Yuva, Lohitakshaha, Samaparimanaha, Devadattaha. Shyamo, Yuva, Lohitakshaha, Samaparimanaha. Shyamaha, dark complexion. A person is, I'm not talking about him now. I'm talking about what the Vedas said. A person stands there of dark complexion, young age, red eyes, well built, called Devadatta. Shyamo, Yuva, Lohitakshaha, Samaparimanaha, Devadattaha. Everything attaches some quality to the individual I am trying to identify. Shyamaha, his color, his complexion. Yuva, his age. Lohitakshaha, his eyes. Samaparimanaha, his body structure. So each one identifies a different aspect of that person I am trying to identify. Shyamo, Yuva, Lohitakshaha, Samaparimanaha. There is no contradiction at all. It all went well. But suddenly, I changed my identification mark. I made a statement telling that, here, I find a tall and a short, a lean and a bulky, a dark and a fair complexioned person. I made such a statement. Immediately I will be proved wrong. Can a person be tall and short? Can he be fair and dark? Can he be stout and lean? He cannot be so. So when I earlier told you some 4 different marks, you accepted because one mark did not contradict the other. In the second case, I am telling you 2 contradicting characters. He is tall and short. He is dark and fair. Immediately you will say you are wrong in your marks. So there was an argument to disprove the veracity of Vedas. The argument goes like this. Vedas talk about Brahman. What do they talk about Brahman? He is the creator. He is the one who sustains. He is the one who destroys. Sratta, Rakshakaha and Samharta. All these 3 jobs are done by that Brahman. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayantabhisambisanti, tad vijignyasatva, tad brahmeti. Vedanta Upanishad, they reveal Brahman to us. They say that this Brahman is the creator. All this universe, you see with your naked eyes, they all were born out of that Brahman. They are sustained, they are protected by that Brahman. And they get back to the same Brahman and they get destroyed. So these 3 are the marks attached to the Brahman. As a creator, as a sustainer, and as a destroyer. Sritti, Sthiti, Samharam. All these 3 are the marks attached to identify the Brahman. As I told you earlier, Shyamo, Yuva, Lohitakshaha, Samaparimanaha, Devadattaha. So there are some more marks here. Immediately one person got up and objected. He said, I think you are wrong. You are talking about a person who is tall and short, who is stout and lean. The reason he gave me was, it was a valid argument. He told me, can a person create and destroy? Are they not 2 opposite action? Creation and destruction are totally opposite. Like, one is tall and short. Both are opposite. He is stout and thin. They are opposite. He is dark and fair. They are opposite. When I gave 2 opposite marks, you didn't believe. You didn't agree. Now towards Brahman, I make the same mistake. Brahman creates, Brahman destroys. God creates, God destroys. Can these Vedas say so? Are they not 2 different actions? In fact, not only different, totally opposite to each other, contradicting each other. So I feel the Vedas are wrong. We are so fond of making such critical remarks. We immediately say that the Vedas must be wrong. They say that he is the creator at the same time is the destroyer. Something is wrong with these Vedas. But I'll tell you one more example now. Khandaha, Mundaha, Purna Shringaha, Gauhu. There was a cow. I wanted to identify that cow. I told this cow has a full-grown horn and a broken horn and hornless cow. I made all the 3 statements now. I am wanting to identify the cow. Purna Shringaha, Mundaha, Khandaha, Gauhu. Purna Shringa, a full-grown horn. Khandaha, a broken one. Mundaha, hornless cow. So I started identifying this cow as, this is a cow with full horn, broken horn, hornless cow. Is that possible? Immediately I would be laughed at. How can you make such a bold statement? All 3 cannot exist together at all. So don't make such same lousy statements with Bhagavan also. Does he create? Does he sustain? Does he destroy? All 3 cannot go together. Creation and destruction are opposite actions. But immediately, one person got up and gave a reply. He said, why not? I have seen a full-grown horn, broken horn, hornless. But the time differed. I saw the full-grown horn in the month of January. The cow met with an accident. I saw a broken horn in the month of March. The owner of the cow was angry. He chopped off the whole horn. I saw the hornless cow in the month of April. What's wrong now? If I were able to see all the three simultaneously, then my statement is wrong. But if I look at someone 10 years back, he was so bulky, but he has exercised, he has dieted, and he looks so thin now. What's wrong in it? He cannot be stout and thin simultaneously. But I can look of 80 kilos 2 years back and be of 60 kilos 2 years later. Nothing wrong. So the Vedas, when it talks about Bhagavan, it identifies him telling us he is the creator, sustainer and the destroyer, but not at the same time. He creates at a different time. He sustains after creation. He destroys after sustenance is over. So there are three different times when Bhagavan does that. So it is Shastras alone that can talk about God and no one else. So Pratyaksha and Anumana, they do not talk about God because they are not adept. They are not empowered to do so. Whereas the Shastra, they are empowered. They are the only empowered to do so. They talk about Brahman. What do they talk about Brahman? How do we realize God through the Vedas? In fact, the Upanishads will come to our help more than the Vedas. As I told you, Vedas are the Purva Bhaga, the portion that talks about the rituals. Upanishads, the 10 Upanishads on the portions that talk about Brahman. Upanishad, Upa, nearby. Nishat, takes us. Upanishaditi Upanishad, that which takes us nearer to our Lord, nearer to our Almighty, is known as Upanishad. So Veda makes us know about Him. Upanishad takes us near Him. Which is more important to us now? Knowing more about Him is the first step. Going closer to Him is the final step. So all the 10 Upanishads help us in going towards the Lord. So let me tell you some few verses from those Upanishads will tell us about the God. Now we have a misconception that this Vedas and the Upanishads will only tell you the way to reach moksha, to go to Sri Vaikuntham, not to live here. Unfortunately, when I told you that only people above 50 or above 60 come to listen to religious discourses, the only reason is that we don't show any way to get a job. We don't show any way to build your wealth. We will not show a way to get married. We will only show not to live, but to leave. That's the difference now. If we show way to live here, I'll find all 20-year-old people. If I only keep on talking about way to leave from this place, I cannot find 20-year-old people. It's a misconception. Vedas will tell you how to live as well as how to live after you have lived happily. Both are important. First you live happily, then you can also leave happily. Living alone is not happiness. Living is more important. Think of that day, that last day, when you will be breathing your last. And none of us know whether it is going to be a peaceful death or an awful death. We do not know. We can only pray to Lord. Now you can touch your heart and let me know. If I ask you, if God, Bhagavan appears before you and asks you want a boon, I would certainly ask Him more than anything else. I will ask Him to have a peaceful death. Because if you are in coma for 10 years before you die, if you are paralyzed for 6 years before you die, it's total burden for someone else. So if you are blessed, you will prove it when you die, not when you live. When you die, you must make people envy of you. Here is a person who just left in minutes. He never suffered from anything. Till his last breath, he was hale and healthy. He was serving this society. When he thought it's over, immediately he pulled his shutters down. He left. He didn't even go to the hospital. He was not sick for even a couple of days. Immediately he left. So those people who leave that quickly, they would certainly be envied upon by others. Whether they envy you when you live or not, they will certainly envy you on your death. Because that's more important to us. We all know that we would die on a day or other. But only thing, we do not know which day is that. If you are told that when you take birth, there is a small chit sent to you by God, and the chit says, this is your last day, I would immediately request him that why am I born now? If you are going to tell me the first day itself that this is your last day, I would not like to take birth at all. So only thing, we all know on earth that we will die on a day, but we do not know which day is that. That only makes life interesting. If that is also known, is there a need for a doctor? Let me know. Suppose I know my last day, there is no need for a doctor. All of us would assemble only in temples. Not to a doctor at all. Because I know it's only 71 at the age of 21. If I am hurt, if I meet with an accident at the age of 30, I will not be worried at all. I know for sure that I still have 41 years to live. Why should I go to a doctor or to a hospital? No need. There are so many hurdles, hassles that would get stopped. So we all know that we will die, but we do not know when is that. Now these Vedas show us the way to live, tell us also to make up our mind that there is a last day to you and the Lord is waiting for you to reach Him on that last day. Don't ever try to be born here again. Yes, you can enjoy, but you cannot enjoy eternally here. Our sukha here is always mingled with dukkha. This is not absolute sukha. Can anyone enjoy pleasure here always? The moment we laugh for 2 days, immediately we know, I need to cry for 3 days. No other way. If I cry for a day, I know there is going to be an opportunity to laugh. When I laugh, I am sure of crying. When I cry, I am sure of laughing. But do you want a life where you can laugh always? Where you can smile always? Yes, I want. I cannot leave my life immediately. I am not telling you that at all. Now you have some duties. You need to go through them. But after they are over, should you realize God or not? At least should you allot half an hour a day or not? So that half an hour the Vedas will tell you how simply to realize your God. You need to first realize yourself. Know about your Atma. That this body is totally different from my Atma. When I say mine, I, me, they all refer to your soul. They do not refer to your body. When I say mine, it refers to your body. Whenever I say it is my belonging, it is my body. When I make a statement, it is me, it is I refer only to the soul. Even in common usage, we never say me, head, I, head. I never say so. My head. When I say my head is this. Who is that my? The head is certainly not my. That me has to be the soul. I say my mic, my table, my carpet, my head. Then what does it mean? As the carpet is something different from me, microphone is something different from me, as this table is different from me, my head is also different from me. Then where is that me? That has to stand for someone, that needs to identify someone, that's the soul. So you need to search for your soul, introspect and establish that there is a soul whose happiness is something else. Its eternal happiness is realizing its master and not just wandering around with these material pleasures. I'll tell you one story from Mahabharata. Yaksha Prashna. The 5 Pandavas, they went to a pond to drink water. They were feeling very thirsty. Sahadeva went. He wanted to drink. There was one Yaksha which was guarding that pond. So, Sahadeva, he went to this pond to drink water. The Yaksha which was guarding the pond, it said, oh Sahadeva, you can. But you need to answer my question. I'm going to put a question to you. Once you answer, you can drink water. It questioned, Sahadevan could not answer. He fell unconscious. So was Nakula. So was Bhima. So was Arjuna. Finally, Dharmaputra, the eldest of the 5, entered. The Yaksha said, I'm going to ask you questions. If you reply properly, you can drink water as well as I would give back your dead, almost dead brothers too. So saying so, the Yaksha put the first question. Dharmaputra was wondering, will I be able to answer the questions of this Yaksha or not? The first question was, what is Ascharyam? What's surprising? What's just wonderful? What is Ascharyam? Dharmaputra thought for a while and replied, yes, I feel that this is the surprising fact in this world, that people, they all feel that this Jivatma is still inside. Now, this is a palace with 9 gates, or this is a small pigeon where you find a den where there are 9 openings. You find a palace where there are 9 gates. this body is also a such palace. It has got 9 gates, openings. There are 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, a mouth, and Malajala Dwara. All these 9 are always opened. Dharmaputra replied, it's surprising to me. Still this Jivatma has not flew away from this palace. He's still inside. When all the 9 gates are open, he should have already left. I place in a cage a parrot and I open the door of the cage. Will the parrot be inside that cage? Its nature is to fly. Its nature is not to get bogged down. So the nature of this Jivatma is to be free, is to be independent. Why should it be present? Even when all the 9 gates are open, this Jivatma still residing in this body is wonderful to me. That's what surprises me. Yaksha accepted. You are right in your answer, but I am going to put you another question. Give me this answer. What is the most surprising? You told me what's surprising. What is the most surprising on earth? Dharmaputra replied, all the people, when they look at others who die, they immediately come to the conclusion that all others except me would keep on dying like this, but I would always remain forever. So I think so, and that is the most surprising fact on earth. They will all be dying and I would live eternally. Not only they, all those who help to burn a dead body also think, see, you have crematoriums where you find servants serving there, many workers serving there. They also think, they also plan for their life. Think for a moment as Smashana Bhumi, a place, a burial ground where there are employees, they work to bury bodies, to burn bodies. They also think, I must get at least 2 or 3 today. If it's 4, I am fine today, I can earn more. So he also plans, he budgets, he saves, he banks his savings, he has got fixed deposit. He feels that I must get more and more people till the age of 90, I must do this job and earn more. That's very surprising to Dharmaputra. The person who has been seeing day in and day out dying and being born, he also presumes that he will live forever. This is very surprising to me. So the answers were right. Yaksha immediately granted water and the 4 brothers of Dharmaputra. Why I told you this was, forever you are not going to live. We need to realize as soon as possible. So try the best way to realize God, and the best way, the only way available to you is the Vedas. The Vedas also tell you that you cannot that easily know Him without my help. So, Vedas and the Upanishad together make us realize about our Jivatma, and there is a pressing need to realize, because this is perishable, your body, and your Atma is always eternal. The moment you realize that, you need to search about your Atma. When you realize your Atma, you immediately want to know about your Paramatma. You look at the Vedas. Why don't you tell me how he looks like? Why don't you make me understand his glorious attributes? The Veda Upanishads come to our help. They say, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha na methaya na bahunashrutena yeme vesha vrunute tena labhyaha tasesha atma vivrunute tanum swam. You cannot know God through me, not by chanting me, not by meditating, not by performing the path of devotion. You can never realize Him. We were very happy. We were only expecting this statement from Vedas. Since you have yourself agreed, now leave me alone, let me go and mind my job. When you have agreed, no way I am going to realize God, then why should I come to you? There is one other Upanishadic verse which says that Atma vare drattavyo shrotavyo mantavyaha nididhyasitavyaha. This God must be listened to by you, heard to by you. Then you need to meditate. Then there is a reflex. You need to think about Him without any disturbance. Lastly, you need to meditate to Him without thinking about anything else. That would slowly and steadily reach you before Him. You can have His darshan. So the progressive path as laid down by the Upanishad is Atma vare shrotavyaha. First, listen to a lot about Him. The more the data, the more it gives you pleasure. If you know less about God, you get drawn or attracted to anyone only if you know more and more about that. There is a microphone here. There is a laptop computer there. I do not know much about a laptop and the uses of a laptop. I would not be carried away by that at all. I'll just look at it, move away. But a person who knows the use of it, who knows that it is not going to be too expensive, I can put it to so many use, The more I have data about that laptop, the more I would like to have it, own it. The less I know about something, I won't be drawn towards that at all. So first thing, if you want to know about God, know more and more about Him. The source is only again the same Vedas. You need to go through them, not only the Vedas, but Upanishads. Here, don't be afraid that they are all very difficult verses. Where am I going to know about them? Don't be afraid at all. If it was not for you, God would not have created them at all. When He creates something, for what? Has He created Vedas for Him to become wise? Is it for Him to know something? Not at all. It is for me to understand. When His purpose of creating the Vedas for me to understand, then will He create something which I cannot understand at all? He is not a fool to do so. He is a sane person. So He would create something that which is only useful to me. Nothing in this world is created without a use. Let's one understand that fact. Accept that. Anything finds a purpose in this world. God will not create anything without a purpose. I was telling this. I'll tell you one humorous story behind this. There was one person who is too knowledgeable. He knew all the Vedas, but never he would practice them. He only had knowledge about that. He was zero in putting them to practice. There is lot of jnana, but no anushtana. Anushtanam is putting to practice. Jnanam is just knowing. The Shastra says that jnanam shunappuchamivavartham pandityam dharmavarjitam. If you are knowledgeable, but you don't practice, then it's like dog's tail. It is a waste. Why is dog's tail a waste? Because take for instance the horse tail or a cow's tail. It serves two purposes. One, it drives away insects and mosquitoes. Dog's tail will not do that. Since it is bent towards the top, it cannot drive away anything. And it does not have that bush-like thing at the end, so it will not. The second purpose, it covers the marmasthana. That also is not possible by dog's tail. So both the purposes are defeated by this dog's tail. So this tail is just a waste. A person who is knowledgeable but does not put it to practice, that knowledge is just a waste like a dog's tail. As a dog's tail is a waste, this person's knowledge is also waste. Yes, this is a beautiful example. But one of my friends could not agree with this. He got up and argued, you just now told me no creation of God is without a purpose. But you tell now that this dog's tail is without a purpose. There is no use. Why do you say so? It must find a purpose. Acharya was more clever than the Shishya. If the Shishya could put such a difficult question, will not the Acharya reply to him? He gave a fitting reply. Oh son, let me tell you the answer. If there was a person who was knowledgeable but could not put it to practice, I need an example in this world to show him. And that example is the dog's tail. So it found that purpose. There was a person who was knowledgeable, but he could not put it to practice. I need to show his knowledge is a waste like a dog's tail. So the purpose of the dog's tail is to stand as an example to the person who is knowledgeable, but could not put it to practice. So just knowledge is not enough. You need to practice the Shastra. Shastram. Shashanat Shastram. Shasanam is a command. It's a directive. The Shastra would say, do so, do not so. It tells you do's and don'ts. These are the set of do's which the Shastra will tell you. We need to abide by them. Do them. There will be one more set which the Shastra would say, don't do so, which we should abstain from. You do all the do's, you abstain from the don'ts, Shashanat. Since it commands you, it tells you it's known as Shastra. Now, what does it say? I'll tell you just one rule, which it says, Snatva Bhunjita, please have bath, then only eat. This is a simple verse in Shastra, Snatva Bhunjita. It will never command you to take bath separately. It will never suggest you to eat separately. But it will only tell you, don't eat before taking bath. This is where the Shastras would enter. Now, it never told me to take bath. It never told me to eat. Why does it unnecessarily poke its nose and tell me that don't eat without taking bath? The reply is, if you smell, then you are going to automatically take a bath. Why should Shastra come and tell you that? If you don't smell well, then your neighbor would tell you go and take a bath. The Shastras need not come to your help. And even without the Shastras telling you not to eat, I always eat. And if the Shastras tell you to eat, I do not know how many times in a day I would eat. So they would never suggest you at all. But they know that I need not tell both these things to him. It will naturally happen to him. But it would be his natural tendency to eat before taking bath. That's when I should instruct him. The Shastras would enter snatva bhunjita. Take bath and then only eat. If I go by that, then am I Vaidika. If I do not abide by that, I become an Avaidika. This is a simple test. Bhagavan in Gita says that Yaha Shastramiti Mutsrijya Vartate Kamakarataha Nasasiddhim Avapnoti. One who does not practice my order, my directive, which is the Shastra, Akritya Karana, Kritya Akarana. Alvar said that whatever you told me to do, I abstained. I abstained and did. But unfortunately, I shifted positions. You told me to do something, I abstained. You told me not to do something, I wantedly did. Which is Akritya Karana and Kritya Akarana. Akritya, which I should not have done. Karana, I only do them. Kritya, I should have done. Akritya, which I never do. So I only go the opposite direction of your directive. If I do so, then I am not a Vaidika at all. So Vedas are not only to tell you about Brahman, they tell you, they feed you more and more data. At the same time, they also try to put it, they guide me to put it to practice. So practicing the Vedas is more important. And one such practice is Atma Vare Shrotavyaha. Listen to him a lot. So to know God, you need to know more about him. Have more data about him. Atma Vare Shrotavyaha. How? By reading the holy scriptures, by listening to noble people, by putting to practice. There are so many modern instruments available today. Earlier days, it was only one scholar, one acharya preaching to one disciple. It's no more that practice at all. You are given so much. Will anyone talk about Vedas in this glowing light? In this hall? In this part? No one would talk about the Vedas. It's known as Shruti. Shruti, not written at all. It was only heard with your ears. One acharya would preach. The other disciple would hear. He would in turn preach to his disciple. So it was one to one, one to one, one to one. We call that as Shruti. It was never printed at all. One cannot hold a book when he is undergoing a traditional study of Vedas. He will only be taught by his acharya. We call it as Uchcharana Anucharana. So let's give that due importance to the Vedas. Try to practice. The Upanishads say that the later part of the Vedas, they say Atma Vare Shrotavyaha. First listen to him. Then Shrotavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha, Mantavyaha. Atma Vare Shrotavyaha, Drattavyaha, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha. Whatever you have listened to about him, don't forget them. Go back home. When someone comes to deliver a lecture, he needs to prepare before the lecture. And all those who have come to listen to the lecture, they need to go back and prepare after the lecture. The difference is, I need to prepare before the lecture to talk to you. You need to go back and think about whatever you listen to today. Then you will get lot of doubts. In case you don't get any doubt, then there are only two situations possible. One, you are yet to open your thought. The score is yet to open. You have understood nothing. Or you have understood everything, you don't get doubt at all. So between these two, you are certain to have doubts. If you have, first settle them. Put them to rest. So the process, first listen to the Vedas, hear to them a lot, then start thinking about them, start thinking about the Bhagavan told in the Vedas, lay a cable connection with him, lay a bridge, a connecting path between your master and you. So Atma Vare Drattavyaha, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha. I start to think about him. Think about whom? The Vedas say so. Do not think about the Lord who has a manifest form of wind, who can be found in the form of air, in the form of water, in the form of fire. Don't look at him as fire. Yes, he is in fire, he is in wind, he is in water. But it's too difficult to realize God as fire or water. How can I relate easily to God? Only with a physical form. When he takes the form of a deity, which you call as Vigraha, the icon form, the deity form, that's the simplest I can relate to. Any other form is complex to me. If I start meditating about Sri Vaikunthanatha Narayana, I have never seen him. How do I meditate on something which I have unheard of or unseen of? I cannot. Kshetrabdinatha, I don't know where he is. Antaryami, he is well within you, but it's so difficult. Can I tear my chest and find out where is he within me? So that also is difficult. The only way, yes, Rama, Krishna were very much alive, but not in my period. The time differed. The only option available to me as per Vedas is deity worship. And the Vedas say that even Krishna in his Gita says, Mai sarvani sanyasta yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasya indriyani. Control all your senses. How to control? My eyes or ears are not going to listen to me at all. When all your 5 senses come under control, your mind will not come under control. When you want to control your mind, your 5 senses will not be under control. For example, you are all listening to me now. Your eyes are set on me. Your ears are listening to my words. Your tongue, I do not know it is 9. I do not know your dinner time. So if it is 9, then your tongue would always be by now instructing you. Why are you still sitting here? It is time. So your tongue may be here. Your eyes may be here. Your ears may be here. But your mind may not be here. I've seen many people, they would have just had a look at their watch. Immediately he turned towards me. I asked him, what is the time? He will look again. Just now you took a look at your watch. Why again? I saw, but only my eyes saw, not my mind. I never had my mind when I looked at the watch. So all the 5 senses, if they help you, your mind will not. If your mind helps you, yes, after the age of 50, your mind is willing to listen to lectures, willing to chant Veda, willing to do Nama Sankirtanam. But when you start to sing, you are unable to, you have a throat infection. When you want to walk towards the temple, you have a cramp, you have a knee pain. When you want to climb a hill, all the 7 hills of Lord Venkatesha, you have a back problem, you cannot walk. So when your mind wants to cooperate, all other senses would not. When your other senses want to cooperate, your mind would not. So the only way is when you are young. The Veda says that yuva syat sadhu yuva dhyayakaha asishtaha dridishtaha balishtaha tasyayam prithvi sarvavittasya purna syat. When you are young, try the most. That's when you will succeed. So think about your Lord, listen to him a lot through the Vedas, reflects, think about him again and again. When you start to think, then you will be disturbed by so many other factors. I've seen many people, they will perform their daily puja for about half an hour. And it is that half an hour, I need to talk about all the gossips in my neighborhood. I don't worry about all the other half an hours. That half an hour, which I should have allotted only to my Lord, to develop my intimacy towards my Lord, I do not do that. I ask everyone. I ask my wife, what happened next door? I ask my son, what happened yesterday in your school? All those gossips only in that half an hour. Once that half an hour is over, I shut up my mouth. I don't talk after that. Why so? When you are doing your puja, you should not be disturbed by anything else. So when you are meditating towards your Lord, don't be disturbed at all. Set your eyes and mind on his deity form. As I told you, Krishna in Gita says that it's difficult to control your senses. Don't tell them close your eyes. They will never close. Can you tell your ears close? They will never close. You can only tell them don't look at something rotten. Look at Krishna. Don't hear to something that is not useful. Why don't you listen to Krishna? So your senses cannot be shut. They can only be channelized. They can be channelized towards your God. The moment you do that, the Vedas confirm that you will be realizing your master. So first job is to listen about him. Second, to think about him. Third, to cut off all the disturbances that come in the way of your meditation. And the Vedas cite an example. Tailadharavat avichinna smriti santana rupam. Tailadharavat, like a stream, flow of oil. You fill 2 cans, one with water, other with oil. Open the can with water, the tap gets opened. Water will flow down. But you just note the water flow. You open the can with oil, open the tap, oil will flow. Both streams would not look alike. The oil flow will be undisturbed. It won't go hither or thither. In the case of water, it would be disturbed. A stream would flow that side, another stream would flow this side, but the oil stream would be undisturbed. So you are meditating towards your Lord. The path, the bridge which you have laid with your Lord must be undisturbed. Once you have an undisturbed meditation about your Lord, it is then you realize about Him. So what we have seen today is, one way we need only three. We have three sources of knowledge, but Pratyaksha and Anumana would not help in realizing God. It's only the Shastra. Shastram is so caring about you that Matra Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. It tells you to respect your mother as God, to respect your father equal to God, your preceptor equal to God, your visitor equal to God. It tells you that all makes loving, that it makes you a human being. It makes you live a normal, peaceful life. It tells you the way out for that. I tell you one verse from Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. Annam bahukurvita, annanna nindyat, tad vratam. It said, share food with everyone on earth. No other would say so. A mata would say, a lady would say that none should fast in my house. None should sleep with hunger in my house. It is my duty. It's always the duty of the lady of the house to ensure that no one fasts, no one is in hunger. There should be no death of hunger in this world. The Vedas say, Annam bahukurvita. Whatever food you have, kindly share it with everyone. Make it available to all. In old Tamil, we have heard this often. It says that, Taniyoruvanukku unavillayanil shagatyanai alittadivom. If there is one who is dying out of hunger, then we kill everyone. None should die out of hunger. There must not be any malnutrition. No one should go hungry. Everyone must be fed. Only when your stomach is fed, you can fill your mind. When your stomach is empty, if I go start talking to him, no God through Vedas, the Vedas, Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharvana, all the four Vedas tell you the divine path, the great path available to go to Shiva Vaikuntham. First show me a path to fill my stomach. Then I will listen to you. So first thing is you need to fill your stomach. The Vedas say so, Annam bahukurvita, Annanna nindyat, and it attaches so much importance to that Annam that it goes to the extent of defining Annam as God Himself. The Vedas say, Annam is not a separate entity to God. It is God. And you consume that Annam. If you share God, it is sharing Ammanam. If you share food, it is sharing God Himself. Annanna nindyat, Annanna bahukurvita. Never scold Annam. Annanna nindyat, Annam bahukurvita. If you are served, please consume it completely. You must not leave any balance. Because that balance may be enough to feed so many in Somalia, in Ethiopia. Think about the children there now. We are feeding our children mouthful. I have seen many schools today who call the parents and instruct them, you are overfeeding your children. You think that everything on earth must be in my child's belly only. Why so? You please feed the child whatever it needs. Don't overfeed the child. In my enthusiasm to bring up my child, I should not overfeed. Think for a moment. When you are trying to overfeed, that one other child is denied of that food in some part of this world. If you think so, you would not do so. You will also get the idea to share. Share everything. Share God. Share food. If I had a $10 note in my hand. I gave it to someone else. He had a $10 note. He gave it to me. Both of us exchanged notes. What would happen? I still would be left with 10. He will also have 10. I had one sovereign. He had a sovereign. We exchanged. We both will have one sovereign only later. Instead, I knew the story of Rama. He knew the story of Krishna. We exchanged. What would happen? I know about Rama and Krishna now. He knows about Rama and Krishna now. It's not that I am left with the same $10 note. We both have $20 notes now. I have Rama and Krishna. He too has Rama and Krishna. So, sharing will certainly improve your life. Share the knowledge about God. Share your food. Annam bahukurvita, annanna nindyat, tad vratam. Because the Vedas identify Brahman as Annam, Pranam, Manas, Anandam. Finally, God is the one who is complete with Anandam, pleasure, with knowledge, with Jnana. Jnanamayi Devata, Anandamaya Devata. Bhagavan, God Supreme, is Anandamaya, full of pleasure. The more I meditate towards Him, then I also start experiencing that joy, experiencing that pleasure. The more I think about Him, since He is omniscient, full of knowledge, I am also blessed with some portion of it. The more I have about Him, the more I share about Him, the more I enjoy Him. So the Shastras show you that I am the only source of knowledge for you to realize God. Know more about Him from me. He is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Know that you are related to Him. He is your master. You are His servant. You need to always serve Him. Thus, that Vedas say so. Listen to them. Meditate about them. Don't allow any other thing to disturb your meditation. The more you learn about Him, you share about Him more. The more you share about Him, you enjoy about Him more. So these are the simple ways. Some are the simplest ways as mentioned by our Vedas, and they advise us the best form to meditate is the deity form, is the icon form, rather than thinking Bhagavan as wind, as fire, as the Akasha. It's too difficult to digest these thoughts. So Alvars also say that Kurarali, Venshangendi, Urunal Kanavarai, Mannum Vindum Mahidave. Hold your divine discus and divine conch with your mace, with your bow. Come before, stand before me with your lotus eyes, your lotus mouth, with your Abhaya Hasta. I am willing to have that darshan. Not the darshan of yours in a Vishwarupa form. That's too difficult for me to digest. Instead, let me through the Vedas know you in your deity form. The Vedas tell Bhagavan as Neelato yadamadhyastha vidyullekeva bhasvara Nivarashukavatanvi pita bhasyattanupama Tasya shikhaya madhye paramatma vyavasthita. Here is Brahman, the Almighty, and he looks like Hiranyah Purushaha, ya Eshontaraditye Hiranmayah Purushaha, Apranakatu Sarvayeva Suvarnaha, Hiranyasmashruhu, Hiranyakeshaha. He has a beautiful mush, it seems. The Vedas are talking about the Almighty. He has a glowing, flowing hair. He has a Hiranmaya mustache. And he has Apranakatu Sarvayeva Suvarnaha. From toe to head, from head to toe, he is just like Swarna. He is so beautiful. So the beauty of God, as revealed by the Vedas, it's that beauty that attracts you towards Him. He may have so many other weapons. If he is not able to control you with all those weapons, he uses his last weapon, which is his beauty, charming beauty. He attracts you with that. So the Vedas were born to make you know about God, to make you realize about His eternal characteristics, His attributes and His beauty, so that you are drawn towards Him. You realize your soul and the Antaratma, who is Paramatma. With that knowledge, you can slowly progress towards Him, reach Him, and that's what all of the Maharishis have done. All our Alvars have done. So let's have the faith that more than thousands of parents, our Vedas will shower their love. They will care for us. So let's learn what they say. Try to reach our Lord. So this is my request to you all. With these words, let us conclude today. Tasmai Ramanujaryaya Namah Paramayogine Yashruti Smriti Sutranam Antarjwaram Ashishamat Shekantaya Kalyananadhaye Nithayertinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangal